Welcome. This is my name is Stephanie Grow. Day 1430 of Sex Change Sabotage by Dr. Suporn Matanya Sakal. I hope you like the new venue. It's basically uh, a bathroom, and I don't know if the sound's coming through or not. It's probably kind of an echo. Welcome back. It's been a week and a half since I last talked to you. I did quit my job. I did have to relocate, and I'm no longer living in my trailer. So, I'm not sure if you can see me. I know that I can see this thing, so, hold on a second. Yeah, it looks like I can see right here. And I got a dog food bowl right here that I'm trying to avoid. I do have roommates that are can hear me, so I'm not trying to hide what I'm doing, but it's such a different subject, weird subject that we're here talking about. A doctor injecting, for all intents and purposes, formaldehyde, which is an embalming tissue, into the groin of a patient. So this video this video is about masturbation. Masturbation, and I think I asked the question of if you masturbated, was that a disqualifier from transitioning? And for some people that masturbate with women's clothing on and don't want to have anything to do with women's clothing when they're not masturbating, then that would mean they would be not fit for transition, because how would they feel wearing the clothes full time, 24/7? So that's my answer. The point of the question was, does it really matter? Is that really the ultimate question to be asking, or is there more to it? I mean, can you find people that have an attraction to the feminineness, the female body, the femininity in the body and the clothing, and still feel like they are women inside, that want to transition, that feel that they would be happy with transition. I think that I consider myself that kind of person. I know when I was growing up, and I wanted to be a woman from as early as I can remember. And you're probably saying, yeah, right, because it took a couple of weeks to respond. But I've been under a lot of stress going through the move back home, and trying to find a venue to speak out of. It's just hard for me. Anyways, back to the question. I think the point is there's a rainbow, and I believe that it needs to include more than just true transsexuals on the far right, and whatever is on the far left. I think cross-dressers, and I think people, if they want to transition, uh, masturbating with any clothes on is not something to be a showstopper or be a disqualification for it. So I wanted to be a woman since as early as I can remember, and I wrote some things in an email the day before my surgery, my offices of the Dr. Suporn, where my complications started, where I accused Dr. Suporn of doing this to me, sabotaging my sex change. And the day that email that I wrote to not Dr. Suporn but a friend through Dr. Suporn's not Dr. Suporn's but the outpatient hotel wireless internet, unsecured wireless internet. We're talking about Snowden and how communications are intercepted by the NSA and the government, and it's not far to believe that these kinds of things can happen on a less sophisticated level with a wireless router and communications going through a hub at some hotel, outpatient hotel ran by people associated with Dr. Suporn. I say associated in a loose way. I don't know what the degree of association is, but anyways, the coincidence is a very ironic that this email that I sent was to a friend, or a once friend, that I kind of had a falling out with. This person did not believe in stealth. This person helped me out with financial issues in my transition, namely giving me a place to stay when I didn't have a place to stay. And I lost my job. I was out on the street, and she let me stay with her, and I helped her do things like go to the doctor with her. So we kind of looked out for each other. But at one point I was going in a different direction. I was I had a better job, and she was older and didn't pass as well as me, didn't have a female voice. Just many things started adding up where it looked like I couldn't really, especially if she didn't respect my transition, it was very hard breaking away from her. And so the reason I'm telling you all this is I'm trying to set a context for why I would write some of the things I wrote in this email, which I'm not sure I'm going to share with anybody, because I don't think it's for other eyes to see. I think it was obtained by Dr. Suporn's staff in some fashion without my consent. Even though the end user agreement at the hotel says that the wireless is unsecured and can be possible that someone can sniff into it, one of those standard agreements that you sign or you click on when you're logging on to the internet from China into a hotel. So I don't put a whole lot of value into that legality arrangement in the hotel. But in any case, what was I saying? I was talking about wireless and sending something on through the internet to a friend. that got intercepted, likely intercepted. I don't know. The Dr. Support Clinic hasn't, either or staff haven't told me what they've done, told me anything that they've done. The nature of the injury that I've sustained from the nature of the sabotage is consistent with jokes that I said in the email, namely that I was donating my groin to a research project. I'm currently, my groin is, I considered embalmed, and I believe Dr. Suporn's idea was if he embalmed my groin, then if I was donating my genitals to research, then if my groin was embalmed, then he was just helping me do that. I don't know. I can't read his mind. He's never talked to me about it. No one's ever talked to me about it. So I believe I'm right, and so I'm coming to the viewers to tell my story. And it's hard because I'm having to discuss a topic about what I wrote in the email that was taken out of context and used as what I would say is an excuse to sabotage my surgery, to retaliate against me for disrespecting his post-op following. So I am in a bathroom, and it's kind of echoey in here, so we'll have to see how this turns out. But what was I saying? So I was writing my friend, and I was having surgery. I was in Thailand having surgery, recovering, and this friend out of nowhere starts up a chat with me. I'm logged into Yahoo, and I went back later, a couple of months later when I got home to see if I could identify an email from this person or why this person I felt came to me and asked me how I was doing, because that's what it felt like. It felt like somebody was showing up at the last minute wanting to console me, and when I've been through a lot of transition issues that this person wasn't helpful with, naming how to pass, how to get your voice right. Usually it's centered around if someone was staring, how do we deal with that, and how do we acknowledge it. And she was basically of the point where she wouldn't acknowledge people staring, and if you did bring it up, it was more like just accept it. Don't try to change yourself. It's their problem. So it was really a helpless adventure trying to get her to change, and so for her to come into my life when I'm recovering, I felt was kind of hypocritical, and I was a little bit upset about it, quite upset, and but I kind of tucked it away and thought I could write things and communicate with her things that may not have been completely true in my life. I like to joke that way. I like to write things that are silly, and I laughed very hard when I wrote this email. I thought it was funny. I was saying things like I'm a cross-dresser, I'm a man stuck inside of a woman's body, and I was really just trying to get my friend, that I hadn't talked to in a while, to open up with me. I wanted to talk further about what my transition went through to get to the point of my sex change, that I was happy with my sex change, and how I finally came through with it. This is day 3 post-op. I'm in the hospital, and day 2 or 3 post-op, somewhere in there, and I'm here. I'm just there trying to communicate in my fashion with my friend, or a person who I've known. I don't know what you call that, an old friend. We didn't talk, but she tried to come back into my life when I was recovering, and I didn't have many friends at that point. Some of you will say, well, you didn't have friends, it's an indication of your personality. Maybe you're a mean person. Um, for someone that's trying to be stealth, it can be just that. It can be you're trying to shut off your life that you don't think you can experience as a whole female without the surgery, like having a boyfriend or having a girlfriend, um, various things that can get you found out. So you tend to stay away from social life until your transition's over. So that's, for me, that was about 8 years. Total transition between hormones and getting my surgery. 4 years of living full time. Um, Living full time with Stephanie. I'm not sure if my camera's still recording. I've been given the go ahead, given the right by YouTube to post videos longer than 15 minutes. I don't know how I earned that, but I suppose this topic is pretty unique and interesting, and maybe they see some validity in my story. It's getting dark, so you probably can't see that well. I can turn on the light, which I'll do now. Okay. So what was I talking about? So this friend came out of nowhere, and I was kind of put off by that, but we'd always kind of opened up to each other to a certain level, and we always found it helpful to at least talk about certain things, even though we weren't living together, or maybe not even living in the same town, interested in different aspects of different goals and transition. There were still some certain commonalities and what we were trying, some of the things we were trying to do, like get hormones or buying clothes, or those kinds of things. So I wrote an email. I wrote it on the day before my complications started, and I wrote about masturbating with clothes on and taking the clothes off, and everything that I could do to paint myself as a cross-dresser, or whatever I could do to I feel I painted myself in a way that would kind of screw with my friend's imagination, who didn't have the money for surgery, was scared of having surgery, didn't want it, didn't understand it, didn't fit for her transition path, and seemed not to like to talk about it when I was wanting to talk about it, making the decision. So I was just I feel I was just playing, trying to confuse her. It was a few days past my surgery. Maybe it was the first or second day after my surgery, and I was just giddy and very happy for making it through transition, making it to my surgery. It was the last thing on my list. I did everything beforehand. I made sure that I lived in the role for a number of years, that I was successful, that I was passing. I had gotten my voice down. I'd done all these things, and the surgery was the last thing on the list, and it was a hard road, and a lot of it was frustration. A lot of the things I said on on the Dr. Suporn group was frustration. I would say the same thing again. If someone in the group did what they did, that's another video. I'll shoot a video on that, on how I can seem pretty mean sometimes. But I was having a bad day. Like a lot of people have some bad days sometimes, and I can tell you why I was having a bad day. But I think I got a raw. I think my problem is not just what I've done. I think there's a problem with Thailand, with Dr. Suporn, at least Dr. Suporn, and this clinic that he's put together, where this situation can happen, that someone can say something that is deemed not respectful, and something retaliatory can happen to them. And I'm sorry that I brought this, that this has happened, and I seem to have had I don't know if if I'm the reason why this, I'm sure I've done some things that at least attributed to this situation. I'm a person that tends to believe in saying things that are not necessarily popular. I believe in, I've been I'm going on and on. I've been said to be paranoid, but that was from a friend, the same friend who is not wanting to address passing. And so if I most of the time talked about people staring, is that person staring at me, she would say I was paranoid. So I never got to say, I haven't spoke to her since my complications, because I feel embarrassed by the email. But I imagine I would come back and say, yeah, I'm paranoid, look what happened to me. But I'm not going to ramble on. I thought this was a good chance to talk about what is the relationship between women's clothing, masturbating, and transition, getting a sex change. I feel there are people out there that are women inside that are attracted to femininity and women, just like lesbians are. Real women and real women versus transgender women and real women, or transgendered women and transgender women. I think that validity exists, and I'm not going to run away from it, and I'm going to face it head on, and that's it. I'm gonna stop rambling. And I don't even know if my camera is still recording at this point, because it's not a lot of memory in that thing. Okay, so I don't know when the next video is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to do daily videos, because there's a lot of work to be done on the website. And since I'm not working, I have an option. I have the option to spend time on the website. So this is day 1430 of Sex Change Sabotage by Dr. Suporn Mutani Sako, and the caption is still in vivo embalment. It was in vivo embalment of the groin. I left the groin off because it's continuing to spread. The toxicity is continuing to spread for whatever reason. I feel personally that it might be tissue preservative in a oil substrate or oil medium, and cedar oil possibly. Cedar oil is an Egyptian embalming fluid. So I was injected into the groin while I was alive, hence the in vivo, and it's spreading, so I, in essence, am being uh, embalmed alive, is what I mean by that. So, obviously, if I die from heart attack or whatever, or from kidney failure, since it would have to get to my kidneys first before it got to my heart. I suppose it'd get to my heart through the blood. I don't know if that's happening or not. I feel chest pains every now and then, but I felt chest pains my whole life. But if it were to hit my kidneys and I were to die from that or liver failure, I'm not really going to be able to be embalmed alive at that point. But I would have been embalmed while I was alive, or experiencing the embalmment. I'm experiencing the embalmment while I'm alive. That's what I'm experiencing, and it's coming from my groin, and it's going towards my other parts of the body, around my tailbone. It's up near, almost a little bit below my belt line, I think, on the front, and I can feel it right around my tailbone. So my tailbone is very bony, and the cartilage around it is feels like it's deteriorating. I've never been able to feel my tailbone so easily, and I can literally feel about that much of my tailbone. So all the cartilage around that, and ligaments and everything is deteriorating around it. Muscle, ligaments, everything. So it's day 1430, and I'll try to make a shorter video next time. Thank you.